let us move on to the next portion, that is uses of magnetic effect of electricity. So far we were studying about what is magnetic effect of electricity, and you have studied right hand thumb rule, all these things, isn't it? So now we are moving to another important session, that is its uses. So in your textbook a figure is given, that is a current carrying conductor is placed in between the poles of a horseshoe magnet, or a current carrying conductor is placed in between the poles of a magnet, and when electricity passes through that conductor, what happens to that conductor? That is shown in your textbook and also the figure. So let us check what happens. See, we have already studied a current carrying conductor. When current passes through it, it produces a magnetic field around it, isn't it? So a magnetic field is produced around a current carrying conductor when current passes through it. Now, this conductor is placed in between the poles of a magnet. So since there is a magnet, there is already a magnetic flux there. Now, at present, there are two magnetic fields. One is the magnetic field of the magnet and the other is the magnetic field of the current carrying conductor. So what happens when two magnetic fields come closer? There will be a attraction or repulsion when two magnetic fields come closer. Due to this interaction, what happens is the current carrying conductor deflects. Why this current carrying conductor deflects? So for any deflection or for any movement, there should be a force. So the current carrying conductor deflects due to the force experienced on the current carrying conductor. So a current carrying conductor which is placed in between the poles of a magnet, when current passes through it, it develops a force, and due to this force, the conductor deflects. This is very important, and this is a basis of, or this is known as motor principle. So motor principle is a current carrying conductor placed in between the poles of a magnet experiences a force. This is motor principle. And now in this figure, current is given. Now let us reverse the direction of current. That is, the positive and negative are reversed. Then what happens to the deflection? Obviously, the deflection also gets reversed. And next one is, we are changing or we are reversing the poles of the magnet. So what happens? When the poles of the magnet reverse, the magnetic field is also getting reversed. So the deflection of the magnet. So when the poles of the magnet is reversed also, what happens? The magnetic field also gets reversed. So the deflection of the conductor also gets reversed. So this is a very important section. This is known as motor principle. Now there is another rule which helps us to identify or which helps us to determine the direction in which the conductor moves, and that rule is known as Fleming's left hand rule. So Fleming's left hand rule, as we already studied, and right hand rule, here we are using left hand. How do we use this left hand? We are taking the three fingers of the left hand in such a way that they are mutually perpendicular. This is the forefinger, middle finger and the thumb. These three are mutually perpendicular. Now, this forefinger represents the direction of magnetic field. This middle finger represents the direction of current. Then the thumb represents the direction of the motion of the conductor, or thumb represents the force on the conductor. See, in the figure that you already saw, there the magnetic field and the current was in mutually perpendicular direction. Magnetic field will be like this. Magnet is kept like this and the current is flowing like this. So the magnetic field and the current are in mutually perpendicular direction. So the Fleming's left-hand rule says that if the magnetic field and the current are mutually perpendicular, so the forefinger represents a magnetic field, middle finger represents the current, direction of current, then the direction of the thumb represents the direction of force on the conductor. This is known as Fleming's left-hand rule. By using this rule, we can find out the deflection of the current carrying conductor inside a magnetic field. When you saw the next video, it will be
force acting on a current carrying conductor in a magnetic field. In 1821, Ampere discovered that when a current carrying conductor is arranged in a magnetic field which is not parallel to the field, then a force is experienced by it. A conductor carrying an electric current has a magnetic field around it. This magnetic field and the magnetic field of the horseshoe magnet affect each other. It is the same as bringing two magnets close to each other. It makes the conductor move perpendicular to the direction of the magnetic field. Hence, when a conductor carrying electric current is placed in a magnetic field, it moves or it experiences a mechanical force. When the direction of the current is reversed, the magnetic field set up around the conductor also reverses, and the conductor is deflected back. This principle is used in the working of electric motors. Fleming's left-hand rule. Arrange the thumb, forefinger and the middle finger of your left hand mutually perpendicular to each other. If the forefinger indicated the direction of the magnetic field and the middle finger indicates the direction of current, then the thumb will indicate the direction of force on the conductor.
Working principle of DC motor. Working principle of DC motor is very simple. We can see that when the current conductor is placed in magnetic field, it experiences some force in particularly direction. The very basic construction of a DC motor contains a current-carrying armature, which is connected to the supply and through commutator segments and brushes. The armature is placed between north and south pole of a permanent or an electromagnet, in elementary model. One single turn of conductor is placed between two opposite poles. If we start to supply DC, via commutator system, current will start to flow. As we see, positive terminal of a battery is connected to left conductor of a turn, and negative terminal is connected to right conductor of a turn. As we see in model, north pole of the magnet is placed near left side, and south pole is placed near right side of the turn. Current in left side flows inward, and current in right side flows outward. As we see, conductor is carrying current and they placed in magnetic field. Both of them experienced mechanical force acted on them. Direction of mechanical force can be easily determined by applying Fleming's left-hand rule. To do this, spread out your left thumb, forefinger, and second finger so they are all at 90 degrees to one another. With that, if the forefinger is aligned along direction of magnetic field, from north pole to the south pole, and second finger is aligned along direction of the current and left side conductor, then thumb indicates direction of mechanical force. Similarly, if the forefinger is aligned along direction of magnetic field, from north pole to the south pole, and second finger is aligned along direction of the current and right side conductor, then thumb indicates direction of mechanical force.
Now we will familiarize with the parts of the electric motor that is given in your textbook. See, these are the magnetic poles, north and south pole. In between the poles, there is an armature coil. So, what is an armature coil? It is a soft iron core is taken and a metallic coil is wound on this soft iron core. That forms the armature. So, the armature is placed in between the poles of the magnet, and this armature is free to rotate inside this one. And then it is fixed so that it can rotate freely. And here current, these are the two split ring commutators. These are known as split ring commutators. What is the use of split ring commutator? If this armature has to rotate continuously, then the direction of current should change continuously. So this split ring commutator helps to change the direction of current through the coil. That is given here, mark that answer. The split ring helps to change the direction of current through the coil after every half rotation. So it is called a split ring commutator. So what happens here? You have to study the Fleming's left hand rule. I will show you how you will apply the Fleming's left hand rule. I have some limitations in showing here. See, when you use a Fleming's left hand rule, the forefinger represents the magnetic field. So the magnetic field is from north to south. So how will you keep your forefinger? The forefinger is like this. Then the middle finger shows the direction of current. So here the current at first on the side AB, the current is from here to that side. So how will you keep the direction of current? See, direction of current you should take like this. I already said I have certain limitations. Then how will our thumb indicate? The thumb is in the downward direction. So suppose this is the armature, then according to this thumb, the armature will rotate like this. Understood? See, magnetic field is in this direction, the current is like this. So the thumb is towards downwards. So suppose if this is the armature will rotate in this direction. Now what happens? The current reaches here and then the current comes to CD. So there also you have to apply the Fleming's left hand rule. How will you apply? The forefinger is like this. Now the middle finger, current is downwards. So the middle finger is downwards. And here is the thumb. The thumb is pointed upwards. So there also at first the armature has rotated like this. Now the armature returns back. So the armature turns one direction, turns fully on rotation when the current passes from AB, CD. In your textbook, keep your left hand like this. This is the magnetic pole and you should keep your middle finger like this. So the thumb will be downwards. That is, armature rotates downwards and then the next half the armature comes back. This is Fleming's left hand and the electric motor. Rise with a device which works on the principle of motor. So moving coil loudspeaker is a device that works on the basis of motor principle. What is a moving coil loudspeaker? See, this is the arrangement of a moving coil loudspeaker. These are a field magnet, that is two poles of the magnet, and in between the field magnet there is a solenoid kept, and that solenoid is known as voice coil. So there is a field magnet or a magnet is here and a soft iron core is placed in between the magnet, and wounding the soft iron core there is a solenoid, and that solenoid is given a name, that is voice coil. And in connection with this solenoid there is a paper diaphragm or a paper cone, or it is rather named as diaphragm. So connected to this voice coil a diaphragm is kept, and the diaphragm is attached to a soft iron shield. A soft iron covering will be given here and this diaphragm is attached to the soft iron shield. So what happens? See, the working is very simple. Suppose you are singing on a microphone. So moving coil loudspeaker, how does it work? Suppose you are singing in front of a microphone. The working of microphone you will study in the next lesson. So the signals that is coming from the microphone are not very strong signals. So the signals will not be able to vibrate this voice coil. So the signals that is coming from the microphone are strengthened using an amplifier. And the amplified signals through wires fall on this voice coil. So the sound energy that is falling on the microphone gets converted into electrical energy in the microphone itself, and that electrical energy is strengthened, and the electrical energy is strengthened by passing it to through an amplifier, and the strengthened electrical impulses or the electrical energy falls on the voice coil here. So what happens? The voice coil is in the type of a solenoid. So when electrical energy falls into that solenoid becomes a magnet. But that solenoid is kept in between the poles of the field magnet. So there are two magnets acting here, and by Motor principle, what happens? The voice coil experiences a force. Understood? Here there is already a field magnet there, but when electrical energy falls on the voice coil also becomes a magnet. So there are two magnets there. Due to this, a force will be experienced on the voice coil. Due to this force, what happens is the voice coil starts vibrating. The voice coil starts vibrating, and in accordance with that vibration, what happens? This paper cone also starts vibrating. So this diaphragm or the paper cone vibrates in accordance with the vibration of the voice coil, and as this diaphragm vibrates, the electrical energy is converted again into sound energy with higher amplitude. So the sound can be heard with higher loudness. So this is Motor principle. Where is this Motor principle used? This Motor principle is used here in the voice coil. When electrical energy passes through the voice coil becomes a magnet. Due to the presence of the two magnets, the voice coil experiences a force, and due to this force, the voice coil vibrates, and the vibration is passed on to the diaphragm, and the diaphragm vibrates, and the sound is reproduced very loudly. This is a working of moving coil loudspeaker. Now we will complete the questions here. Where is the voice coil situated? So what will you write there? In between the poles of a field magnet. In between the poles of a field magnet. Then, to which part is the diaphragm connected? Diaphragm is connected to the voice coil. From where does the electric current reach the voice coil? From the amplifier to the voice coil. What happens when current is passed through the voice coil? Voice coil vibrates. See that working is given there. The electrical pulses from a microphone are strengthened using an amplifier and sent through the voice coil of a loudspeaker. The voice coil, which is placed in the magnetic field, moves to and fro rapidly in accordance with the electric pulse. These movements make the diaphragm vibrate, thereby reproducing sound. So this is the working of the moving coil loudspeaker. So by this we come to the end of the chapter 2. Next class we will move on to lattice SS. I hope all of you have understood all the portions. If any doubt, you can ask your physics teacher.